Name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Welcome back to my channel Nadir Hussain Air. Today we are going to discuss that how to measure the performance of React Native apps. You might have gone through many articles which suggest that how to improve the performance, but there is actually a little material which tells you that how to actually measure the performance, right? Are you going to feel the difference if you are making some steps or introducing some changes to improve the performance if you do not have some criteria to measure, if you do not have a way to observe that whether your code changes are making any impact on performance or not, right? So today, instead of theory, I am going to focus on the practical tools that how to measure the matrices related with performance. So let's first discuss that what are those matrices, what is the criteria on which we are going to decide that whether our app is performing good or it is basically poor in performance. The first matrix is FPS, frames per second, right? The goal for this is basically, according to the documentation, React Native documentation, our goal needs to be 60 frames per second, because at this rate basically human eye perceives smoothness in the movement, right? So basically, you might be aware that React Native has two threads. One is JavaScript thread, in which engineers are basically writing the logical code, right? React Native engineers are mainly concerned with the JavaScript thread because they are writing the code in JavaScript and React. The other thread is native thread, in which basically these JavaScript logic related instructions are translated, and through bridge they are then communicated to the native thread or the UI thread. So UI directly basically renders on native thread, right? However, logic is written into the JavaScript thread. So we have two frames, FPS, frames per second. One is JavaScript frame per second, and the other is native thread frames per second. But we engineers usually focus on the JavaScript related frame per second. Okay. The other metrics is we have to observe the rendering time of each component and the rendering count, right? Usually performance is impacted when unnecessary re-rendering is happening, right? Or if a component is taking a lot of time to mount, right? Related with that, there are two terms which is render phase and commit phase. You might go through the details of it, right? I am just going to tell you the summary of them. In the render phase, basically React Native calculates or computes the differences, right, through reconciliation process, that what changes have been made in the state, right? While in the commit phase, those changes which have been computed into the render phase, those changes are actually made or into the DOM tree, right? Okay. We are going to observe the one of the tool which basically tells us about the commit phase, that how many commit phase you have gone through to achieve some state. Okay. Now the next question is, what tools are available to measure the performance? The first tool is performance monitor tool. We basically can observe this performance monitor. We can show it by going to the dev menu in the React Native apps, and if you are on the Mac OS, then pressing Ctrl+M on the simulator, and this starts showing you the frame rate, and you can observe screen wise when it is going down or when it is reaching 60 frames per second. The other tool is react-devtools, right? For that we have to first install the dependency, and then we have to launch it. I am going to show you all this process and all the steps practically. Now coming to the code, let me first basically the sequence of events is that first we have to launch React dev tools before the emulator or before running the app. So it is now waiting for the React to connect. You first will install the dependency of React DevTools, then you are simply going to launch it through this command. Let's open the new terminal, and before actually launching the new emulator, we have to run this command. This was an issue that even after I had launched the app on the emulator, it was not connecting with the React DevTools. So this was command that was found. What is it saying? No device. Okay, let me run it and then check. The application is building. Okay, so it has still not connected. Now let's run that command and see whether. Okay, now we have to open the dev menu by command M, and I think it should now connect. Yes, now React DevTools have connected. Okay, as we have here, this is the first tool, hide performance tool. I already launched it, so it is already showing you 60 frames per second. Let me actually okay. So you see, when we go from one screen to other, then frame rate drops. So navigation impacts. Navigation is one use case where frames are dropped, right? So this performance tool is quite useful on each screen and in each navigation. Basically there are 2-3 main things. One is navigation, other is animations. If you are playing animations, right, they also impact your frame rate. We are going to discuss these use scenarios into some next videos, right? For now you can see that you have launched from dev menu the performance tool, right? Now the other tool was React DevTools, that and how to observe. Basically this performance tool helps us to observe the frame rate, while DevTools helps us to observe the render times and the render count of the components. So let's now check that. So here in the profiler, first of all, let's go into the settings. Here we have two settings: record why each component rendered while profiling, right? Just check it out so that we get the reason. And this one is that if it is less than, let's suppose 1 millisecond, then do not show it. Okay, so start profiling, and let's go to do something. Right here we did some actions, then we went to the next screen. Now let's stop recording and see. So this is the this is called flame chart or the flame graph. Here you see 1 out of 8. This means the commits that you went through 8 commits, right? Between these two screens renderings you have gone through the 8 commits, right? And time taken by each commit phase is being shown by this bar. This one has taken, you have to look for orange or the yellow colors. So this phase took time, and on each component you have to look for orange colors. This one took 1.9 millisecond of 3.6 milliseconds. So total 3.6 milliseconds were spent. Out of that, 1.9 milliseconds were taken by this one, right? Okay, and let observe this one, that what is showing. Only some performance issue lies here. So here you can see against each component, this length of the component, length of the bar shows the time taken by that component, right? And exact time is also written in front of them. These are how many commits. The other thing is, let me check here, that ranked chart. So in ranked chart, it ranks according to the time that which the component that took lot of time is listed at the top, and then the other ones are in the order of decreasing time taken. So these are two main components, right? Purpose of this video was to introduce you with these tools, right? In next videos we are actually going to measure this performance and observe them, take some steps to improve the performance, and observe through these tools, right? And we will observe that how useful these tools are to improve the performance of React Native apps. I hope this video would have been useful for you. Thank you very much.